To live coding happy hour. Am I getting an echo from someone? Oh, well, we'll figure that out in post-production. Welcome to Live Coding Happy Hour. This is the show for ServiceNow developers where we walk you through some exercise to show you the power of the platform, the thought process that goes behind it. This is the antithesis of a well-polished demo. Anything could happen and usually does on this show. So if you're as excited as I am, and look at the powerhouse we have on this screen, let's get started with the intros. We'll go in alphabetical order, and I'll go last. So I think that puts Brad up first.
All right, I will go first. My name is Brad Tilton. I am a senior developer advocate here at ServiceNow. I've been doing things on the platform for quite a while, and it is, 3:30 in the afternoon for me.
I think everybody on this call is in a different time zone.
What are you drinking, Brad?
No, not yet, not yet.
We don't get to
not yet, sorry.
There's a protocol to this madness.
Yeah.
Next up is Dhruv.
Hi everyone, my name is Dhruv. Current time at my location is 3 a.m. and I'm one of the ServiceNow Developer MVP. Oh boy, I'm proud of that. Professionally, ServiceNow SME at Accenture, UK. Lesser known fact, ideally I should be in London, but I am in India to celebrate Christmas with my family. Happy to be here.
And if you were in London, what time would it be?
9:30 p.m.
Okay, then it's your fault.
Yeah, it's fine. It's on me.
And if I'm doing my alphabet correctly, Earl goes next.
Hi, everyone. I am Earl Duque. I am a developer advocate with ServiceNow, previously a developer MVP along with the other fellows on this call. Me becoming a developer advocate made your club more exclusive, so you're welcome, everybody else on the call.
Then Mark.
Hi, good evening. This is Mr. Instant Scan. I think two or 3 weeks ago, Brad introduced this nickname. Mark Roethof calling in from the Netherlands. It's 10:30 p.m. here. And I'm principal platform architect at Quint Technology, Quint's ServiceNow partner in the Netherlands. Now in the ServiceNow space for 5 years and 1 month. So yeah, that's about it.
And Paul.
Yep, I'm Paul Morris. I'm a ServiceNow consultant, I guess you could say. I work for a ServiceNow partner in Australia called Kinetic IT. I've been working on the platform now for something like 8 or 9 years. It start to lose track. It's been so long now.
And what time is it?
It is 5:34 a.m.
You are the most in the future.
I think we've got the world covered here.
Yeah. I'm also a developer MVP. Very proud to join the ranks this year.
And my name is Chuck Tomasi, Senior Developer Advocate at ServiceNow. Been here for about 11 and a half years. Customer for a couple before that. And writing code since the early 80s. So it's not quite vacuum tubes and punch. Well, yes, I had punch cards, but we'll ignore that for now. So let's go around, same order. What are you drinking, Brad?
All right, I'm very excited about today's beer. It's Dogfish Head's Worldwide Stout. It's the Barrel Age series, and this is the first batch of this year's Barrel Age series. So that I have found.
Like you just broke into the holiday vault. What we were talking before the camera started rolling. What is the ABV on that?
It's pretty high. It's about 17.2, I believe. So we'll see how far I get.
Do you want a little beer with that alcohol? Dhruv.
I've got something that you might not want when you're trying to lose some weight. It's 100% sugar. So
Nice.
yeah, that's what I have got.
But it keeps you awake at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it should.
I have a guava nectar spiked with 4 roses.
Very nice.
And I've got again an Australian beer.
Oh,
Gupta
yeah,
Pale
I
Ale.
recognize that one.
Yeah.
How about you, Paul?
So I
Orange
have
Mimosa
a coffee.
in the old branded service.
ServiceNow mug.
I love it.
Vintage.
So locally ground. Well, I don't know if I'd say local, but it's a blend by a local company called Yahava.
Oh, nice.
And they do.
I have my CreatorCon 19 Brew Ops mug, and I think I've had this one before. It's from Boulevard Brewing, the Bourbon Barrel Quad. I'm only a 12.2% ABV.
Sounds nice though.
I like that sound too. It sounds like the beginning of our video.
Chuck, did you say what time it was?
Wonderful.
It is 2:30 p.m. So
It's
I'm an
1:30
hour
p.m. for me.
ahead of Earl and an hour behind Brad until you guys all move your clocks around in a few months again. So, right to Congressman, stop doing that. All right, let's get on with the topic. Who is our chief presenter demonstrator driver today?
I think that's me today.
Oh, Paul drew the short straw. Okay,
So-
tell us what we're doing.
So, as ServiceNow introduces more and more applications every day, it seems like there's another application. Every version, there's a whole bunch of new applications. For those of us still working in update sets, sometimes this can cause a bit of challenges, as sometimes updates from different scopes manage to sneak into update sets where they're not supposed to be. ServiceNow does its best to stop this from happening, but sometimes it still does happen where you might have a update set in one scope and then it's filled with updates from 5. Well, the last thing I was working on, I was doing some CMDB work, and I was working in the CMDB CI class model application. I was also working in an Intune integration application, and also in the ETL application, and also in global. And my update set somehow managed to have a mix of all of them in one. And ServiceNow will let you complete that update set, but when you try and preview it in your upstream environment, you'll get this cannot commit update set because update scope ID is different than update scope ID global, or whichever update set it may be, and there's basically nothing you can do about that other than skip it. There is no remediation path at that stage, so then you kind of have to go back to your dev environment and fix it up, and it's a real pain in the butt, especially if you just want to get your change in and it's a Friday and you want to have a beer and it slows you down. So what
I
I
think
want to
every
tackle,
developer remembers their first time seeing this error and having a cold sweat suddenly happen and go, oh no, what did I break?
Yeah, exactly. So what I usually end up doing, usually this happens kind of in the first environment I get to in test. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to usually I just delete the update set and then go to dev and do some rearranging, which is not ideal, but it's kind of the only way to fix it, really, because your update set is mangled up. It's never going to commit anywhere. So I usually then go through a painful process of, for example, I'll find a particular update set that's got the problem, and then I'll filter application is different from update set.application. And this is just in my dev environment. I've just done a quick filter on all the updates in the system that are in the wrong scope, and there's like 7,113 separate updates in this dev in my PDI that are in the wrong
How
scope.
long did you say you've been doing this? And this is. You might want to look for another job.
A lot of these are still like a global application and a global scope,
Right.
but I don't know how this has happened. Like a lot of these, I haven't worked on at all. It's just kind of like that for some reason.
So Paul, can these also be system generated, admin generated? Like it's not your updates, actually.
It's not necessarily the developer's fault. This does sometimes just happen. Like when I was working in the ETL to update a transform, I had update sets for each scope, but it would just, for some reason, sometimes put updates in the wrong update set, because usually it prevents you, but sometimes it just kind of doesn't and just puts things in the wrong update set. I don't know exactly how it happens, but it does happen more often than it should.
It does happen a lot.
So I was just thinking the other day that I would like, because I usually fix it up manually, and devs don't really like doing things manually. So I was thinking, I'm sure I could probably come up with a script to just fix the update set and move. Well, firstly, the first step is prevention, just something that will prompt you if you try and complete an update set that has updates with lots of different scopes in it. I guess that's kind of the MVP I'm going for today. And we'll see how we go. If I get that up and going, then might go further to starting to write something to fix it. I'm not going to aim too high today. I'm just going to first focus on some sort of detection script that will let you know if a given update set has multiple updates in the wrong scope. So today I might just go through my thought process, being on the platform for 8 or 9 years, as to how I kind of tackle these problems and the different tools I use to get there as well. I've got my SN utils. Does everyone in the room here today use SN utils or have heard of SN utils?
Yes. I can spell it.
Absolutely.
I'm also a really big fan of using Explore just to test code, like proof of concept, hash out code first, make sure it works. And also, lately I've been using Visual Studio Code and the official ServiceNow integration as well. Do you guys use that much?
Yes.
Yep.
I installed it last night.
Yeah, Chuck used it today.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. There is the SN utils integration where you can just kind of copy code blocks that are on a given page, or you can use the ServiceNow official one where you can point it at an instance and grab all the artifacts for an application and then kind of working code in Visual Studio rather than the Studio app within ServiceNow. And you've got the Visual Studio code editor, which is quite nice. So what we might start doing to start with is create an application so we can put this up on Git later for people to contribute to. Let's go to Studio, create an app. Not app.
What's your plan? You want to put an error message on the screen that says, "Hey,
Yeah, that's what I'm
there's
thinking.
something in your update set," or you're trying to put something into the update set? What stage are you looking to block the bad behavior?
So I'm thinking when you set the update set to complete,
Okay.
it will just tell you that as a starting point that your update set is going to have problems in the next environment because it's multi-scoped.
I'm going to give you a bad error message now so you don't do something that will give
Yes.
you a worse error message later.
Should we prevent it from going to complete?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
So let's.
So then
just pull-
you also just want to check for all the customer updates that are attached to that update set, and then
Yep.
actually applying the condition you had before on the screen, I guess, because you already had the customer updates on your screen, I thought, where we saw the thousands of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to fix that today.
Yeah, baby steps. Prototyping. Iterative development.
So what are you thinking? A flow, a business rule? Where do you want to start with this?
I'll probably just go into scripting, I think.
Okay.
I guess could use flow to do something. But it's a Friday. Let's get our coding happening.
Sounds like a perfect developer.
Yeah.
Job security.
I
So
like
you think.
The advocates always go flow first, but I enjoy just diving into the script. It sounds fun.
I write as much script as anybody because I'm just a bad habit. Sometimes our life is just a bunch of bad decisions.
It wants me to pick a table to use, but I don't really want to use any table. This is just an application that kind of has API, I suppose. But I think it's going to force me to say that I want to.
Yeah, I think you have to tell it some sort of table because it's going to create you like an app menu and module. So you could just tell it a table and then delete that menu and module.
Yeah, we'll just,
Incident.
we'll just go with incident.
It's either incident or sys use. Incident is less ambiguous.
All right. Fantastic.
Incident is every developer's favorite table to test.
Yeah. Good old incident.
How many
All right.
how many incidents has Able Tutor opened up on your instance?
So let's just pick
That guy has so many problems.
set at random here.
I'm waiting for the day when we hire someone named Able Tutor.
I'm waiting for a fan to
how
change
did-
their name to Able Tutor.
How did I manage this one here? This is a
We should
got
go
some
recruit
global
somebody.
updates in a scoped.
Oh, is that Brad?
application.
So we should go recruit somebody. I mean, I'm sure that person exists somewhere.
Start publishing blogs under that pseudonym.
What updates should I pick?
That would actually be like a funny Twitter handle, just to have fun with. Let the ServiceNow people read this character's stories. Oh man, I put in an IT ticket today.
There's
I think the
something
biggest vendor here is that it's just the default update set is filled with things from lots of different scopes for whatever reason.
Are you're searching now for a good example to test on?
Yes, yes.
Paul? Oh, okay. Do you have that store thing from Force to Update Set? Do you have that on your instance?
Yes, I think that's what's actually been the issue.
Because yeah,
for a lot of
with that
these.
one you can for sure simulate it because you can just create an update set in any scope and just grab some artifact from another scope and you can just force it. So at least with that you can simulate
Yeah.
it.
That might be a good idea to just simulate it for now. So let's just create a new update set. Just call it multi-scope update set. And we'll make this our current one. Then let's just go to like a UI policy or something from a different scope. Let's pick customer service because I know I've installed that one here. Even customer service itself has a couple of scopes.
There's a good chat conversation going on with the force to update set and add to update set from share and the differences.
Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of that add to update set going
Yeah,
around.
the older one doesn't support scope. I know there was a revision made to it, because originally I ran into the same thing, and I don't know, I'm more of a create application file guy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's. Oh, yeah, loading. Now let's see what this version do. It's probably going to put it in the right place. So I think this might be a smart one that adds it to a separate update set. Yes, this version has that fixed, I think. The one that just happens to be in my environment.
Oh, nice.
It just put it in its own update set, which is good. All right, let's see what happens if I don't change the scope and go add to update set. I think again, it's gonna behave for us.
I like that we're trying to fix a problem that we can't make happen.
Yeah. One thing you might see on your screen as well, why I'm somewhat passionate about fixing update set problems, is I did build a little something that lets you know if you've got a artifact open that's in someone else's update set. I just built something that kind of prompts you that you might be modifying something that's in someone else's update set, which might result in there being some conflicts down the line, or unintended functionality going into production a bit early. For example, if two people are modifying a script for two different user stories and one's in the release and one isn't, you might find that both end up in production. So I added that little warning. That's something that I've written previously. So we might just
that warning also exists if you're using source control. So once if a record gets modified and it's part of an app connected to source control and it's not committed yet, when you open it up, it'll tell you, hey, somebody else updated this and hasn't committed it yet. So, but that's only if you're using the source control integration.
Yeah,
so I like this too.
So what we might do, this default batch child, I think this has plenty of examples. It's not something that we would realistically be taking to production, but I think it might be a good example because this update set has updates from all these different applications. So we know it's something that we can use as an example. So I guess to start off with, we might write some code just to query a given update set and determine how many different applications there are in an update set as an example. So usually when I'm doing any kind of glide record lookup, what I do most of the time is I get kind of the results I want in a list filter, and then I copy the query. If I want to write some code, just put my query there, and usually my coding style is to prefix with gr and then put something meaningful. In this case, we're looking at usually I just go with the table name, customer updates, unless there's a particular context.
I usually do the gr suffix, but Either way is good. It tells you this is a glide record.
Yep, that's it. And we've got our table. An encoded query actually is what I want.
Yep. Add encoded query.
In fact, another thing, actually, I like what I usually do, actually, is I go open list and explore. It's early in the morning, and then I've got some pre-generated code, and then I might do some updates. And I think can't remember. Some good meaningful names there. So that looks like it's working. There was lots and lots and lots. Like 889, 887. Slightly different number there, but close enough. So what I would like to do actually is output every type of application we've got in that update set, because we might want to come up with an error message that says your update set contains updates from the following scopes, just so there's a bit of user friendliness in there. So API that's not used enough, glide aggregate. As I'm sure most of the dev MVPs know on this happy hour, that it's not a good practice to count records using glide record. It's not very efficient from a performance point of view as well. So whenever you need to do any counting or grouping, glide aggregate is the way to go. Another thing as a developer I do a lot is refer to the API. So I have a search shortcut that just searches the API. I use this quite a lot when I'm coding.
Why didn't I think of that?
So I can get to the API quickly and do some quick coding. Here's an example here of count sum, average min, and there'll be something in here about grouping. There'll be some code here that groups, add query, add aggregate, add trend, get aggregate, add aggregate encoded query, get row count, table name, group by. So there's an example of an incident query that's getting min, max, average, and it's getting each of those by category. So in this case, all we really want to do is group by application. So let's forget about this one here. Just work from here. So let's go.
I do appreciate that, Paul. Even while you're driving this live coding happy hour, you were able to drop some best practice glide aggregate versus knowledge. So thanks for teaching the peeps constantly.
Yeah. Even though we have some heckling on your variable names in the chat from Phil here.
Phil is always heckling in the chat. Phil is always heckling in the chat.
He's slightly disappointed. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. I said updates, didn't I?
But I don't know The aggregate is a little different than the glide record, so I don't know.
Yeah, so when I'm using glide aggregate, it's a good pickup. I normally go with GA and GR. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm just going to show you another thing that I really like about SN utils. When I'm doing queries in the code, why are you not behaving? Because it's live is why it's not behaving. What's happening with SN utils? I'm going to refresh the page. It's not behaving. It has a show technical names command, which just shows you on your whatever form you're on what the column names are. But it's not working for some reason.
You are not on form, I guess.
Normally
the
it
list.
works from a list. Maybe I'll go into a form. It usually works on a form once it loads.
We've got to get our node on a live coding happy hour and just have him
No, it's
go all through the.
this is the
SNU
first
tools.
time I've ever seen this happen with SN utils. It just
Oh, do we need the? You need the full window up? Maybe we had a comment around there. So right now
Yeah.
you only have the.
But usually, oh, pop wants to work. Okay, pop is useful as well. If you want your full window, type in pop and you get your full window. I don't think the application
go.
field is even on this form anyway. So I'm just pop the list.
That was a good call, Dimitar.
Yeah, I could swear that usually works, but I could be wrong.
Well, if you only load the content frame in a new tab, there's some stuff that doesn't get loaded because you don't have the header and the nav bar.
Yeah.
Those are all different frames, and so you probably are missing some of that.
So what I've done here, I know the field here is called application, but if I didn't know, which I quite often don't know, I'll type in that TN command just quickly to get all the technical field names. Group by application, query. Let's just see what this spits out. 7 customer updates.next.
It's GA customer updates.
Yes. All right, so let's do, going back to our API reference, we can, to get the different categories as we cycle through, just can see the code there, .category, .get display value. So let's do something like that as well. And let's put this to the log instead. So if we can imagine, if we had a pop-up that came up and told us that the update set has all these things in it, fix your update set, that would be quite a scary list. So let's, in Studio, open up our MVP update set. Scope check. So if I'm working with code, I usually like to do this in Visual Studio Code. Just for those who may have not seen this before, I'll take it back to the start. So I'll say create a now project, ask for an instance, ask for your method of authentication. It's going to say basic, username, put my password in previously, and I want to load up my custom app, import existing MVP set update scope check. And let's just say I want pretty much every record type imported that I'm working on. So I don't have any scripts quite yet. Let's just create a include. Let's call this. To take recommendations on a name.
Add an S. Make it plural.
Can
Just screw with Phil.
I'm taking a drink.
Take this, Phil.
you name it?
Oh.
Add fills at the end.
Let's have a function called actually, I was saying I don't really want to work in Studio. I've just used Studio to create the object, and I can sync the project.
Yeah, Phil was noting that if you create a script include via the VS Code integration, it would be locked to the scope accessible from only this scope. So you're going to have to go back and switch it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is doable.
Yeah.
There's no changes to sync. Did I not just create a script?
I think you did not save, right?
Oh, that would be classic me, wouldn't it?
It
No, that
looks
would be classic Brad.
You were abandoning that and doing something else. Hey, did you say classic Brad?
Yeah.
It was
That's
me.
fair.
I did it 3 times in a row on one episode.
That's fair.
We need a traveling trophy for that.
All right. This time. Server development. There we go.
There we go. This is my favorite VS Code feature. Is I'm sure you're going to show is the being able to run some sort of code as a background script.
Oh, yeah. Either
Or
in the
part of
current, either in the current scope or in any scope.
Yeah.
There's 2 options now.
I love being able to just to highlight part of a piece of code
Yep.
and run it.
All right. So let's just. Done. I don't really like log so much. Go with this is the first time I've actually been in VS Code in a few months since I went on leave. There is, I think, there is a way you can make it change all the variables of a particular name. You notice when I had log in there, it kind of no, I don't want console.log.
Hey, Paul, can you zoom in a little bit?
Question. Can I zoom in with VS Code?
Control plus.
Maybe too much.
No, more is always better for viewers.
Not for developers.
Thank you.
Easy.
Now I'll put this encoded query up here. And we'll call this array. Example. And what we might want to do as well is have like an update set parameter in here. Might have a autocomplete, and this is just best. That's it. B. So we've got something a little bit more useful here that we can use for any given update set ID. And then when you want to save that back into ServiceNow, sync file for the current file or sync project to sync all your files. So call this update set scope.
Paul, can you, on line 10 of the script, can you, between the two, can you do an enter there?
Oh,
Yeah, for
hideous.
it looks really odd. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You might want to provide the SysID. I think it's
Yep.
explained.
I'll just grab this again. Get application. I'm gonna go with S.
At least you're thinking about every time you add it up.
Just out of spite at this point.
Yeah.
It's not on variables and functions. Just table names that are wrong.
I've lost it in my clipboard again. What's going on here? Someone's probably already in the chat found what's wrong. I'm just going to have a quick look. No, not at the moment. Query updates ID. Applications array, push. Alright, let's do some. Check what's going on here. Oh, get rid of that.
Oh, is a script included in a scope, and you're running this from global?
Yeah, I'm created this application in global since we may need to manipulate all the scopes.
Yeah, but then probably on line 1 you need to prefix with the scope between new and update set scope checker.
Try
Like
that. It
the-
seems to be
Yeah, because
From
it
what
was
we
in
can-
a different scope, right?
from what
The
we can
update
see.
set checker script include. Yeah, wasn't it in a scope?
Seems it's got the object there and says get. Oh, okay. Get applicate. I thought I synced this. Something you have to be mindful of when I changed it to the S. Code was working all along.
We were not printing anything to see the results.
Yeah, so there we've got the results. So you can see it works. At least that part of it. We could also do something like. Actually, we can. So we've got the basics of something. So we might want another function that just kind of validates whether your update set, if it has any updates in the wrong application to start with. So we could create a function. Let's do something in explore first.
Like it's just has a count of one or more wrong customer updates.
Yeah, so what maybe with the output we've got, yes, what we're expecting is there would be one result, and result is the same as the update set application. So in our code, we've got the display value in there. So we'll probably want one that gives us the sysids as well.
Yeah, I was going to say display value could be a bit.
Yeah. So we'll have like get applications display names. And then we'll have like get. Here's a question, because this catches me out a bit. When you're doing your variables and you have ID, do you guys go ID or ID?
Tough choice.
I'm not going to answer that because I know I'm inconsistent.
Both caps all the way, forever.
I mean,
Right,
true
yeah.
camel case would say lowercase d, but
I'm
But
on
no
both
one asked
caps
me
as
back.
well.
So I'm going to call this get applicate. We might leave it as get applications, and then we'll just return the glide aggregate object so we can reuse it. So display names one.
Yeah, I like how many different opinions we have in the chat. Some people.
I'm going to remain ignorant and not look at them.
I was like always a both uppercase, and then I started doing more UI builder stuff. And there are some, UI builder actually forces camel case in some cases, and so there are some places you can't do, sys capital I capital D, and it actually really bothers me.
Earl, that doesn't count. Lowercase s and everything else caps.
No, he has a lowercase I in there too. So.
Oh, he reversed camel case or something?
Live streaming while programming is really like pouring your heart out to the world.
It is.
It's my camel case.
I like reverse camel.
Camel case in the southern hemisphere? What is that?
Yeah. All right, so we've got just walking in an array without ensuring that we've got a string. All right, so we got one that gets our display names, one that gets our sysids. Let's just see, is that quite a good object? Let's try the sysids one. Well, the sysids.
Ooh.
Oh,
Do you potentially want to do a unique and a sort on? I mean, maybe not sort, but unique. Does that array possibly have dupes in it?
We do have a
Group
group
it-
by on it, right?
Yeah, they should all be unique. I've done a group by.
Okay,
oh yeah.
good catch. Thanks, Mark. One of us is sober.
So you can see as I'm working here, it just updates the script. We can save application names. Also use background scripts to do this as well. I like Explore because it gives you that output. All right, so we were saying when like var is clean update set. When the results is 1. Let's just we got a good false there. We want to find out what the current application is of the update set. So we're going to need something that just gets like a glide record of the update set. Let's just say get an update set. But usually what I would do, I'm kind of seeing a pattern here where we're passing in update set sysid everywhere. So it's all, this class is all centered around an update set realistically. So let's have that as a global variable.
There you go. After about 2 or 3 of them, that's where I go, this should be initialized.
There's a really great book that is called Clean Code. Talks about trying to minimize the number of parameters you have in your functions to try and keep it as clean as possible. And it kind of makes you think about, okay, what's the purpose of the class I'm building? What is it kind of centered around? And when you see you're constantly passing the same thing around, you think, oh, okay, well, my script, what it does is it's centered around a particular thing. And that's probably how I should be initializing the object and passing that round. So, I mean, you don't want messy code that everything is a global just because there's less parameters. You need to be realistic, but in general, if you can reduce the number of parameters and prefer having a couple classes that focus on each class doing one thing in particular rather than one massive class that tries to do too many things.
Yep. The other one is when I get about 5 or 6 parameters, I start thinking this should probably be an object.
Yep. I'm remembering now. So Control D in Studio. My brain's only just warming up. 6:24. Everyone's cutting me some slack. You can highlight all instances of that variable name and then call it something else.
Hey, that's not me.
Before we go too far, let's just update our scratch pad a little
This
bit.
might be our last test and cheering for successful code run.
That's at 6:30 already. Goodness. Really takes a lot longer when you're talking through the whole process.
Yes, it does.
Or this, in my mind,
Yes.
this part was going to take 5 minutes.
I don't know about you, but I always talk through mine. I'm talking to nobody, but
I start
There's a-
talking to myself when the code's not working. Well, why isn't this working?
right. We're gonna do this, then we're gonna go there, and this should have fired. Why didn't it fire?
So we had a question from somebody coming in late. What is it that we're doing? Which is when you complete an update set that has multiple scoped updates in it, we want to prevent that from completing, right? As our overall
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, maybe to add on this comment, if you would like to do this in an instance scan check, actually the list and the query that Paul had at the beginning already, that's your whole instance scan check.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was something we were discussing. That my thought process usually is there a feature to do what I want to do out of the box, or is there an existing API that I can use to make this easier? So using the instant scan did come to mind. Something that I haven't really played around with the instant scan yet, but I believe you could have a scan as well, that when you scan the update set, it tells you that it's got multiple scopes. Maybe ServiceNow might want to include that in the next release, maybe.
I thought Mark was just gonna contribute it.
Yeah.
Next week, join us for the same live coding happy hour with Instant Scan.
Mr. Instant Scan. I mean, who else? Who better?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I'll give it a go. But like what Paul is doing now is, of course, like we are going a step further, like preventing it and maybe eventually even automating it. And well, that's obviously not what instant scan is for. So yeah.
But a
this
good
is,
practice is to run an instant scan or the UI action that says scan update set, so you can detect if there are problems before you promote it.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be a good combo. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could use this API, I guess, to save you some time with the coding.
You're writing this all down, Mark?
Yeah, for sure. Good ideas.
Peter is asking, can you make a pre-save alert which makes you still able to save your update instead of having the sorry you lose your 2 hours work? So I think you all were getting into this, but if we put this script inside of an instance scan check, that would essentially be it. Because you can have the instance scan check trigger off of stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think we're preventing the update from saving here. We're saying before you can complete the update set, you have to do something about these things that are in the wrong scope, right? So you don't lose any work. You just can't move it.
I'm just giving you a warning. If something goes wrong, it's on you, not on me.
Yeah, it gives you the option to still fail.
I'm just giving you the
At least-
gun. If you want to shoot
Yeah.
yourself, go right ahead.
All right, so maybe as a test, we could let's find an update set that is actually clean.
I think we may be out of time.
Earl's giving us the hook.
Well, we've started to get somewhere. I'm so close.
All right, you get one more test, then we got to be done.
Yeah.
Brad, we're just as guilty as running overtime on this show.
Hey, we can have more than one part to this episode.
Yeah.
Ooh, tune in next week for the exciting conclusion.
Here, we'll go out during Paul's happy hour time, and we all have to suffer.
Already done that. Get the update set. Get the application.
We're all waiting with bated breath.
Good work. Need this display names. Set. Actually, that's the one we don't want. Application display names. Hold on. Here's clean update set. Delete. Delete. False, and we want to do another. Hopefully we'll get one that's clean. Almost there.
We are with you, Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You got this.
Tool user. Let's just pick this one.
Going as fast as you can.
Let's just say fail update set. Not defined.
We still got to rate our beers.
Should we go around?
We can rate them while he's finishing. Multitasking at its best. All right, Brad, how's your beer? Mr. 17 point something.
You're muted, Brad.
Yes, he's muted. He said, I'm waving my bottle in front of the camera.
Sorry, the dogs were barking. Those were my dogs. I apologize, everyone. I had the barrel-aged stout.
Yeah,
Excellent.
of course.
I did not finish the 17%, but it was, I mean, I'm going to go for 4.75 because it was incredible.
Very nice. Dhruv, how was your Coca-Cola?
Always 5.
Always 5.
Well done.
These young kids. Earl.
I had a guava nectar spiked with 4 roses, and I'm going to go ahead and say it's a 1.5. It was really bad. It was pretty
Wow.
bad.
I think that's the lowest we've ever had on this show.
It was really bad.
I'm keeping my snarky comments to myself. Mark, what's the rating?
I've got the Cooper's Pale Ale from Australia, and actually I opened a second one. So
Is that good?
so yeah, no, for me this is a 5. Yeah.
Goes down that easy. All right. And Mr. Morris is still madly bashing on the keyboard.
Returning true for everything. So there's something wrong with my logic.
Oh, we've never ended this show on an incomplete. There's something wrong. I can fix it, really.
Just need another moment longer.
My bourbon barrel quad barrel aged ale, like Brad, I did not finish. That's why I was laughing so hard. I'm using the table to hold myself up at this point. It's really good. I'm gonna give this this is probably going in my rare 5.0 category. Really good stuff.
Thanks.
All right,
Thought I
give
had
him,
it.
give him a countdown, Earl.
All right. We're going to have to go ahead and call it.
Alrighty. Well,
So-
thanks for giving me the. I think it's 0. Giving me
What we
the
can do
opportunity.
is if you want to finish this up on your own, we could post it to Git and put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
The finished version.
The second I'm not being watched.
Oh, you don't have to tell us.
Everyone
When the
types
code is
better when they're
working.
not on camera.
I have gone back and how do you not know this, Brad? Yeah. It's,
Who is that person typing on? Because it's not me. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the MVP edition. Join us next. Are we going to have a show next Friday? Can we pull one together that fast,
I
Earl?
believe we are going to have a show next
Okay.
Friday.
December 10th or 11th, if you're a day ahead, like Dhruv and some of our Australian, New Zealand friends. Join us. Keep your alerts on, subscribe and like, and you know all the stuff to do on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Thank you all for going through this stuff, and take care. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks all.
Bye.
What?
Everyone.